It's 2 in the morning. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your mind is racing. The laundry's still in the dryer. That email you meant to send, still sitting in your drafts. The side project you promised yourself you'd start 6 months ago hasn't been touched. You check your phone, scroll through social media for 20 minutes, feel worse. You tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. But deep down, you know the truth. Tomorrow looks exactly like today, and today looked exactly like yesterday. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're just stuck. Here's the question that changes everything. What if the problem isn't that you don't have enough time, but that you're spending it on the wrong things? Today, we're breaking down Stop Wasting Time by Garland Coulson, a book that will teach you how to take back control of your hours, your energy, and ultimately, your life. Let's get into it. What this book is really about. Stop Wasting Time by Garland Coulson is a practical productivity guide that helps you identify what truly matters, eliminate distractions, and build daily habits that actually move the needle. Instead of complex systems or overwhelming routines, Coulson focuses on clarity, consistency, and imperfect action. The book teaches you how to stop being busy and start being effective by protecting your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. It's about working smarter, living intentionally, and finally making progress on what actually matters to you. This isn't a book about hustling harder. It's not about waking up at 4 in the morning or squeezing 18 tasks into a 12-hour day. It's about something far more powerful. Knowing what deserves your time and ruthlessly protecting it. Garland Coulson wrote this book for the burned-out professional, the overwhelmed parent, the freelancer drowning in client requests, the student juggling 5 different responsibilities. He wrote it for anyone who's ever felt like they're spinning their wheels, but going nowhere. And the beauty of this book? It's simple. No complicated frameworks, no 30-step morning routines. Just 6 core habits that, when practiced consistently, will transform how you spend your days. Let's dive into each one. Habit 1. Know what matters. Chapter 1. Know what matters. Meet Sarah. She's a high school English teacher in Columbus, Ohio. Every Sunday night, she sits down with her planner and writes out her week, color-coded, perfectly organized. Monday, grade papers. Tuesday, lesson planning. Wednesday, parent-teacher meetings. Thursday, department meeting. Friday, catch up on emails. By Friday afternoon, she's exhausted. She hasn't read a book for pleasure in months. She hasn't called her sister back. She hasn't worked on the novel she's been dreaming about since college. She looks at her planner and realizes she's busy, but she's not fulfilled. Here's what Sarah learned from Stop Wasting Time, and what most of us never realize. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Garland Coulson opens the book with a hard truth. Most people waste time because they never define what they're trying to achieve. Think about it. How many tasks did you complete last week? Now ask yourself how many of those tasks actually moved you toward a meaningful goal. If you're like most people, the answer is uncomfortable. Coulson introduces what he calls the clarity test. It's simple. Ask yourself, if I could only accomplish 3 things this year, what would they be? Not 30, not 10, 3. Write them down. These are your North Stars. Everything else, it's either supporting these 3 goals or it's a distraction. Sarah did this exercise. Her 3 goals? 1. Be present with her students, not just grade papers, but actually connect. 2. Write 1,000 words per week on her novel. 3. Strengthen her relationship with her sister. Suddenly, her calendar looked different. Half of her tasks, they didn't support her North Stars at all. They were just noise. Application. Here's what you're going to do right now. Yes, pause this video if you need to. Action 1. Grab a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone. Write down your 3 North Stars. What are the 3 most important goals you want to achieve this year? Be specific. Action 2. Look at your calendar or to-do list for this week. Circle every task that directly supports one of your 3 North Stars. Cross out everything else, or delegate it, delay it, or delete it. This is brutal, but it's necessary. Sarah cut her weekly task list from 47 items to 12. And you know what happened? She got more done. She felt less stressed, and she started writing again. Takeaway. Clarity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what counts. You can't prioritize everything. When everything is important, nothing is important. Your time is finite. Spend it like you'll never get it back, because you won't. Have you ever felt busy all week but accomplished nothing meaningful? Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one goal that truly matters to you right now? Let's keep each other accountable. Habit 2. Kill the time vampires. Chapter 2. Kill the time vampires. By the end of the month, Marcus has worked 70 hours, but only billed for 30. He's exhausted, broke, and resentful. This is what Garland Colson calls time vampires. Time vampires are the people, habits, and commitments that drain your energy without giving anything back. Colson breaks them into 3 categories. 1. People vampires. The friend who always needs just 5 minutes but takes an hour. The coworker who dumps their work on you. The client who doesn't respect your boundaries. 2. Digital vampires. Social media, endless email checking, notification pings, binge-watching Netflix when you meant to work. 3. Obligation vampires. Commitments you said yes to 6 months ago, but now dread. Volunteer roles that no longer align with your goals. Meetings that could have been an email. Here's Colson's rule. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Marcus started tracking his time. He used a simple app to log every hour for 1 week. The results shocked him. 8 hours on social media, mostly mindless scrolling, 6 hours in meetings that produced 0 income, 4 hours doing free work for people who kept asking for one more thing. 18 hours gone. Application. Here's your mission. Action 1. Download a time tracking app like Toggle or Rescue Time, or just use a notebook. For the next 3 days, log everything you do. Be honest. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Action 2. At the end of 3 days, identify your top 3 time vampires. Circle them. Now, set boundaries. People vampire? Practice saying, I'd love to help, but I'm at capacity right now. Digital vampire. Delete the apps or use website blockers during work hours. Obligation vampire. Send that email. I realize this commitment no longer aligns with my current priorities. I need to step back. Marcus did this. He quit 2 volunteer boards. He turned off Slack notifications. He stopped doing free work. The result? He worked 45 hours the next month and billed for 42. His income doubled. His stress disappeared. Takeaway. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're survival. Your time is the currency of your life. Stop letting people steal it. What's your biggest time vampire right now? Social media? Toxic relationships? Meetings? Comment below. Let's call it out together. Habit 3, build your non-negotiables. Let me tell you about Jennifer. She's a single mom in Phoenix, Arizona, working full-time as a nurse. She's got 2 kids under 10. Her mornings are chaos, packing lunches, finding missing shoes, rushing out the door. By the time she gets home, she's exhausted. She collapses on the couch, scrolls her phone, orders takeout, and goes to bed feeling guilty. She wants to exercise. She wants to meal prep. She wants to spend quality time with her kids, not just surviving, but actually being present. But every day feels like putting out fires. Here's what changed everything for Jennifer: non-negotiables. Garland Colson argues that most people fail at consistency because they try to change everything at once. Instead, he recommends identifying 3 to 5 non-negotiables, daily habits that, no matter what happens, you protect like your life depends on it. These aren't aspirational, they're realistic, and they're tied directly to your North Stars. Jennifer's non-negotiables. 1. Morning movement. 10 minutes of stretching or walking before the kids wake up. 2. 1 real meal. Cook dinner at home at least 4 nights a week. 3. Tech-free time. 30 minutes of phone-free time with her kids before bed. Reading, talking, or playing. That's it. 3 things, not 20. Colson's rule: don't add more until you've mastered what you've got. Application. Here's how you build your own non-negotiables. Action 1. Look at your 3 North Stars from Habit 1. For each goal, identify 1 daily or weekly habit that directly supports it. Example: North Star, get healthier. Non-negotiable, walk for 20 minutes every morning. North Star, launch my side business. Non-negotiable, work on my business for 1 hour before checking email. North Star, be a better partner. Non-negotiable, have a 10-minute check-in conversation with my spouse every evening. Action 2. Schedule these habits. Put them in your calendar like doctor's appointments. Treat them as sacred. Jennifer set her alarm 15 minutes earlier. She prepped overnight oats on Sundays. She put her phone on a charger in the kitchen at 8 p.m. Within 3 weeks, she'd lost 6 pounds. Her kids started asking, "What are we reading tonight?" Her stress levels dropped. Takeaway: consistency beats intensity every single time. Small daily habits compound into massive results. You don't need to overhaul your life, you just need to protect 3 things. What's 1 non-negotiable you're going to commit to this week? Comment below and tell me. I want to cheer you on. Habit 4. Embrace imperfect action. Chapter 4. Embrace imperfect action. This is about David. He's a college student in Atlanta, Georgia, studying computer science. Smart kid, big dreams. He wants to build an app that helps students manage their finances. He's been planning this app for 9 months. He's designed the logo. He's researched competitors. He's rewritten his business plan 4 times. He's watched 30 hours of YouTube tutorials on coding, but he hasn't written a single line of code. Why? because he's terrified it won't be perfect. Garland Colson calls this paralysis by preparation. Here's the truth. Perfectionism isn't about excellence. It's about fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking foolish. So we prepare, we research, we plan. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I'm ready. But ready never comes. Garland's mantra is done is better than perfect. Started is better than stuck. He shares a story from his own life. When he started his coaching business, he didn't have a fancy website. He didn't have a logo. He didn't even have business cards. He had a Google Doc with 3 services and a PayPal link. He sent it to 10 people. 3 of them hired him. That messy, imperfect action launched his entire career. David read this chapter and decided to take action. He stopped planning and started coding. His first version of the app? Terrible, buggy, ugly. But it existed. He showed it to 5 classmates. They gave him feedback. He fixed the bugs. He improved the design. 6 months later, his app was in the campus app store with 200 downloads. Application. Here's your challenge. Action 1. Identify one project you've been putting off because you're waiting to be ready. Write it down. Action 2. Set a timer for 1 hour. Work on that project. No research, no planning, just action. Create something messy. Write a bad first draft. Record a rough video. Send that awkward email. Colson says, give yourself permission to suck. You can always improve version 2. David's advice to other students? Launch before you're ready. You'll learn more in 1 week of action than 6 months of planning. Takeaway. Perfection is procrastination in disguise. The world rewards action, not intention. Version 1 doesn't have to be great. It just has to exist. Interactive question. What's the one thing you've been putting off because you're scared it won't be perfect? Comment below and commit to taking imperfect action this week. We'll do it together. Habit 5. Protect your peak hours. Chapter 5. Protect your peak hours. Let's talk about Rachel. She's a writer in Portland, Oregon. Freelance journalist. She loves her work when she actually gets to do it. But here's her typical day. She wakes up at 7, immediately checks email, sees 3 urgent requests from editors, spends 2 hours responding. Then her roommate asks if she can help move furniture. She says yes. Then she remembers she has a dentist appointment. By 2 p.m., she sits down to write, and her brain is toast. She stares at a blank page for an hour, writes 2 mediocre paragraphs, gives up. This was her life for 2 years, until she discovered the concept of peak hours. Garland Colson introduces a game-changing idea. Not all hours are created equal. Your brain has a natural rhythm. For most people, there's a 2 to 4 hour window each day where you're at your absolute sharpest. Your focus is laser tight. Your creativity is flowing. Your energy is high. These are your peak hours. And most people waste them on email, meetings, and errands. Garland's advice? Treat your peak hours like gold. Protect them ruthlessly. Rachel identified her peak hours, 7 to 11 a.m. This was when her writing flowed effortlessly. So she made a rule. No email before noon. No phone calls before noon.
No meetings, no errands, no distractions. Just writing. Application. Here's how you find and protect your peak hours. Action 1. For the next 5 days, pay attention to your energy levels. When do you feel most alert, most creative, most focused? Log it in your phone. Action 2. Once you identify your peak hours, usually 2 to 4 hours, block them off on your calendar. Label them deep work time or do not disturb. During these hours, no email, no social media, no meetings unless absolutely critical, phone on airplane mode. Use this time only for your most important work, the tasks that support your North Stars. Rachel did this. She started writing from 7 to 11 a.m. every morning, no exceptions. In 3 months, she finished a book proposal that had been sitting in her drafts for 2 years. She landed a book deal. All because she protected her peak hours. Takeaway. Guard your best hours like your life depends on it, because your dreams do. Email can wait. Your purpose can't. The world will try to steal your focus. Don't let it. When are your peak hours? Morning, afternoon, late night? Comment below and tell me how you're going to protect them this week.
Habit 6. Master the weekly reset. Allow me to introduce you to James. He's a sales manager in Chicago, Illinois. High performer, ambitious, hard-working. But by the end of every month, he's burnt out. He never takes breaks, he works weekends, he skips lunch to take calls. He tells himself, "I'll rest when I hit my quota." But the quota keeps moving, and he never rests. Until one Sunday, he breaks down crying in his kitchen. His wife finds him and says, "You can't keep doing this." That's when James discovered the weekly reset. Garland Colson argues that productivity isn't about constant output, it's about sustainable rhythms. Think about professional athletes. They don't train 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. They have rest days, recovery periods, off seasons. Your brain needs the same thing. Colson introduces the weekly reset, a 2-hour block every Sunday afternoon where you 1. Reflect, 2. Plan, 3. Recharge. This isn't optional, it's essential. James started doing his weekly reset every Sunday afternoon. He'd sit with his journal, review his calendar, and write down his 3 priorities for the week. Then he'd go for a bike ride with his son. Application. Here's how to build your own weekly reset. Action 1. Pick a consistent day and time: Sunday evening, Saturday morning, Friday afternoon. Block it on your calendar. Make it non-negotiable. Action 2. Use this simple structure. Reflect, 30 minutes. What were my wins this week? What didn't and why? What did I learn? Plan, 30 minutes. What are my 3 most important tasks for next week? What time vampires do I need to avoid? What does my calendar need to look like to protect my peak hours? Recharge, 60 minutes. Do something you love. No work, no guilt, just rest. James noticed something powerful. His Mondays became intentional instead of reactive. He stopped feeling overwhelmed. His sales numbers stayed strong, but he wasn't sacrificing his health or his family. Takeaway.
Rest isn't laziness, it's strategy. You can't pour from an empty cup. Fill yours weekly. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Don't skip it. Do you take time to reset every week, or do you just grind until you burn out? Comment below and tell me, what's one thing you'll do this Sunday to recharge? FAQs. Your biggest time questions answered. Use this voice. Let's answer some of the most common questions people ask about time management and productivity. Questions you've probably Googled at 2 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. FAQ 1. How do I stay consistent when life gets chaotic? Here's the truth. Life will always throw curveballs. Kids get sick. Projects get canceled. Emergencies happen. The goal isn't to create a perfect routine that never gets disrupted. That's impossible. Instead, focus on flexibility within structure. Garland Colson recommends what he calls minimum viable habits. Ask yourself, what's the smallest version of my non-negotiable that I can still do on a terrible day? If your habit is exercise for an hour, your minimum viable version might be do 10 push-ups. If it's write 1,000 words, maybe it's write a paragraph. The key is maintaining the streak, even if it's tiny. Momentum beats perfection. When you do the minimum on bad days, you don't break the chain. And when good days return, you ramp back up effortlessly. Consistency isn't about never missing, it's about never quitting. FAQ 2. What if I don't know what my goals are? This is more common than you think, and it's okay. Most people drift through life reacting to what's in front of them instead of choosing a direction. If you're unsure what your North Stars are, Colson suggests starting with subtraction instead of addition. Ask yourself, what do I definitely not want in my life? What drains me? What makes me miserable? Write it all down. Then flip it. If you don't want to feel exhausted all the time, maybe your goal is build sustainable energy through better sleep and movement. If you don't want to feel financially stressed, maybe it's save $500 per month. Start with what you're running from, then turn toward what you're running to. Also, give yourself permission to experiment. Pick 3 goals for the next 90 days. Test them. If they don't resonate, adjust. Goals aren't tattoos. They can change. The important thing is to start moving in some direction instead of standing still. FAQ 3. How do I stop feeling guilty when I say no? Guilt around saying no usually comes from one belief: I'm responsible for other people's feelings. But here's the reality: you're not. When you say yes to something you don't have capacity for, you're not being kind. You're being dishonest. You'll either do it poorly, resent the person, or burn yourself out. None of those outcomes serve anyone. Colson teaches a simple reframe. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're saying yes to something that does. You're saying yes to your health, your family, your dreams, your sanity. Practice this script. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I don't have the bandwidth to give this the attention it deserves right now. You're not rejecting the person, you're respecting both of you by being honest. The people who truly care about you will understand, and the ones who don't, they were taking advantage of you anyway. FAQ 4. What if I start strong but always lose motivation after a few weeks?
This is the most common productivity trap, and it happens because most people rely on motivation instead of systems. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes. You can't build a life on feelings. Instead, build systems that work even when you don't feel like it. Coulson's advice: make your habits so small and automatic that motivation becomes irrelevant. Don't say, "I'm going to work out every day." Say, "I'm going to put on my workout clothes every morning at 7 a.m." That's it. Once the clothes are on, momentum takes over. Also, track your progress visually. Put a calendar on your wall and mark an X every day you complete your non-negotiable. The chain of X's becomes its own reward. You won't want to break it. And finally, expect the dip. Weeks 2 through 4 are the hardest. That's when novelty wears off and discipline has to kick in. If you can push through that window, you'll hit week 5 and it gets easier. Final takeaway: your life starts now. Conclusion. So, here we are. We've covered 6 powerful habits from Stop Wasting Time by Garland Coulson. Habit 1. Know what matters. Get crystal clear on your 3 North Stars, the goals that truly define success for you. Habit 2. Kill the time vampires. Identify the people, habits, and obligations that drain your energy and set boundaries. Habit 3. Build your non-negotiables. Protect 3 to 5 daily habits that support your North Stars no matter what. Habit 4. Embrace imperfect action. Stop waiting to be ready. Launch messy. Improve as you go. Habit 5. Protect your peak hours. Find the 2 to 4 hours when you're at your sharpest and guard them ruthlessly. Habit 6. Master the weekly reset. Take 2 hours a week to reflect, plan, and recharge.